No, I mean my video games.
Oh,
All right.
you're playing
Yeah.
games right now?
I was playing Destiny. Yes, I have to give my full undivided attention to you guys now.
Well, we actually started a whole new book.
We did.
It's book
It's
book foe.
Oops. I sent you something, King.
It's an entire brick.
pretty heavy.
The first of many
We're not-
of this
We're
size.
not live on Twitch.
Yeah,
Oh shit!
for
Peapock.
30 seconds now.
That thing would fucking hurt
I know,
to put in.
I know. I couldn't find an actual shape of
Unless I use it as a retainer.
an atomic words. A correct tooth. So this is as close as I could get.
Anatomically correct.
And
There it is. That's what it is.
Thank you.
That's cool though. I like the little
It's evening.
samurai
It's evening, Steve.
head in there.
I hard
Fix
words
it.
hard.
Grab your books and turn to page 20. Love it.
Shit.
Felt like I was in church.
Oh, to start this out,
Please rise. Join with me in singing "Fuck Your Mother." Wait, sorry, page 97. Killing in the name of. You guys don't know that one?
Bow, bow, bow.
There it is. Some of those that work forces.
Something about some dark ass horses.
Exactly. Welcome to the book club meeting number 14. We are discussing our beginning adventure into the fourth book in the cycle called Wizard and Glass. Those who haven't read, what do you think that means? If you think about the other books, the first one was the Gunslinger, the Drawing of the Three, then we got the Wastelands. Now we're in Wizard and Glass.
Doesn't really fit for me.
I
It does
think
kind of seem
of-
like an outlier.
I think of whenever wizard. I mean, it's talked about the Man in Black being a wizard
Sure.
of sorts. And then and glass, I think of like a scrying ball. Like, I don't know, like looking like a fortune teller almost.
like
Do
a
you
looking
say that
glass.
because you've seen the cover of the book?
No, because wizard and glass.
Yeah, but also
Whenever I think of a glass, I think of
that's the cover of the book. So I do like the bird skull. I think
Zoltan.
I think we'll definitely work our way into that. We jump right into it as like the very beginning. We are right there at the end of book 3. We just jump right into book 4. We're still in the train. We're still riddling. Something is kind of happening. Roland's slowing down. Jake then tries his book. Roland gives up. Roland says, "You've beaten me." But then something big happens, and Eddie's been kind of like meditating this whole time, and really kind of like chasing almost like a memory trail. Like he's
the voice of someone he knows comes back.
Yeah,
Oh.
he's definitely like inside of his head here, trying to like work something out, because a thing happened, and he's associating these different memories, while they're sitting there riddling, trying their best to keep Blaine from killing them. If they lose the riddle game. I
That's
think
the Faraday goose.
yeah,
they're
I think
fighting
there's
for.
a small flashback where Eddie is hanging out with his older brother Henry, and they are just shooting the shit in the alleyway, kind of with Henry's friends, and they're all kind of picking like who they want to be to like get in a fight with, and kind of bragging this and that or whatever, and like Henry chooses Eddie, to Eddie's great shock, because he
To
says
have his
that
back.
yes. He says
It almost
Have
sounded
his
like you meant they were going to fight against each other.
Oh, no,
That's
they
why
were-
I said that.
To have their back.
they were just trying to pick who would be
Yeah.
their choice for best partner, for
Sorry.
like being there for them, and Henry chooses Eddie because he says that Eddie could talk the devil into set himself on fire. He would say Eddie's zoning, and like you can kind of imagine, like I'm sure we've all kind of been there, like when your brain is doing that thing, like in The Hangover, where like the math starts popping up, and you're kind of like,
Yeah.
The way that they describe this part makes me think of how I think of things, because even though point A and point B to someone else doesn't seem like they correlate, the little things that lead to, I guess, them. Wow, my brain just totally fucked up on half of that.
I think what you're saying is that
I get it.
he kind of thought around it. He had to get into the idea from a back door.
Because if you try to directly think of it, it's gone.
Yes. Eddie realizes that the only time that Blaine was ever stumped was when Eddie asked him his stupid joke riddles.
And he got pissed just like Roland did.
Yes.
Back at the campfire.
And that's why it was so hard for Eddie to like pull the memory back, because it was a painful memory. Because part of Eddie's personality is to joke about stuff. You know, like Eddie lives in that kind of satirical, kind of like sarcastic, you know, almost like
He's always striking back. He's
but
on guard.
It's like comical, but it's like pessimistic almost, right? Like his personality lets him see the truth, but then like he has to make a joke about it.
Yeah, he sees how bad it is, but I mean,
multiple times, like
he's also optimistic too,
right?
but
Well, sure. Like he's hopeful,
it's
but
really
you know,
complex.
like he will throw a joke at anything.
Yeah.
What was it? Calm mind.
What?
Sounds
Exactly.
cool.
Like there's been multiple times where Roland has dismissed him, or like just kind of out of hand, like ignored what he's doing because he thinks of him as a fool.
Yeah.
But
However,
Eddie's proven a couple times he isn't.
very true. And this is another time where Eddie actually is the one who kills Blaine by first blowing his mind with silly questions, and then literally blowing his mind by like shooting the route map. He emptied all 6 shots into the route map, and
He's been on a roll.
saved.
He's been on a roll ever since the speaking ring.
Yes,
I swear.
I agree. He's definitely kind of stepped into his role and like grew into, you know, kind of himself even.
But Roland
he's
knew.
gained confidence. He's gained confidence. Along with sobriety, he's gained confidence in
Absolutely, yeah.
He's gained clarity.
Clarity, yeah.
But the thing about it is, like, fucking Roland knew though.
But like there's parts
Like-
where after they're done riddling, they all sit down like, oh shit, and kind of look around like this is the end of it. And then Eddie stands up like, hey bitch, let me hit with my tight 5, like and like pulls out a comedy routine, like a really bad one granted, but like a comedy routine, and saves everyone's asses.
I like how he started off by asking him the first question or the first riddle
Yeah, he like asked him again.
that pissed him off.
Yes.
And I like how he finishes with the one that Roland hated the most.
Also that.
Yes.
But like I think like Eddie for the first time kind of understood a little more of like the depth of what it means to be a gunslinger when they say, you know, I shoot with my mind. You know, like I don't shoot with my hand, I shoot with my mind. Because like a real big part of like what's going on here is like it's more than just, you know, who's the fastest shot. Roland's always been the fastest shot, but he needs people with him who have other strengths. He needs people with him who are going to be able to like pull the group together, and like they were ready to give up. Everyone's like sat down like, oh shit, what do we do? And Eddie stands up like, you know, saves the fucking day
Because
by
Roland takes things so
digging into what
seriously.
Roland dismissed many times before.
Yep.
So it's almost like a
Chastised
lesson
him
for him
for
as
it.
well. Like at the end, he like even says like, I cry your pardon. You know, like he had to say the same thing to another one of his friends in the past for the very same reason. Like he's been here before. He's underestimated his friends based on not understanding them.
But he
But
gets
he's-
that at least.
Yeah, he does. He does get it. And he's compared Eddie to Cuthbert and Susanna to Elaine.
Yeah.
And he knows their shortcomings, but he sees so much of them in the specific people. And this is just another solidification of what
Yes.
his thoughts were.
But it also shows
It's
you
just
that
like a reincarnation.
Roland hasn't learned a whole lot beyond himself because he's made the same mistake again. You know,
Yeah.
like
Hopefully he's learned it now,
This
like
time.
before shit gets real bad. Like
I
Eddie's
think
already
it-
proved himself, and so is Susanna a couple of
Yeah.
times.
I think he's realizing that even though they're like them, he needs to change because, like, he fucked up before and messed everything up before. Shit went south before. He realizes now that he can't do it again, and I think hopefully he'll change. I don't know.
see, and like we're continually like hearing Roland compare himself to like the
Court.
past him and then like his past group of friends, and like you hear a lot of like kind of like what used to be and like what used to happen, and you know he is kind of
Stuck in a repetition rut.
I don't think
But-
we'll see Roland change because we've kind of he's kind of been thrust into this role as apparent leader. Yet he himself said he's never won any of the Riddling festivals or won any of the Goose.
right. And this
Yes.
is yes, sorry,
And he
Or it
took-
always
he-
won.
And yeah, exactly. And he took upon this leadership role, and they thought it was maybe Jake's book that was going to seal the deal, but it
Right.
never did. And it was Eddie sitting in thought for as long as he did, to the point where Susanna was worried about, hey, we're going to die, and I'm
Yeah,
not going to
yeah.
spend time with this guy.
The book stalled for time.
well,
That's
I
what
think
that's what the book for.
I think that you definitely get kind of a glimpse like to where like Roland, you know, is still making mistakes. You know, he is still underestimating his friends and dismissing, you know, like things that like make them different than him. Like he's still very much like kind of, I think, in his own head here, and this may be like one of the only times that we actually see him like admit like defeat.
First time he's ever admitted defeat, even whenever he was looking death in the
And
face.
yeah, I think it's
He
definitely
still
going to be
didn't.
a learning experience for him here, where it's like,
But I think he will change. Susanna picked up on it. She said, "You're moving on." He is changing, and they are changing him. But
I definitely
how
agree
much?
with that.
How much will he change? I'm sure we'll see some resilience because Roland's not one to roll over.
No, resistance.
He just keeps rolling along.
Yeah,
Well,
resistance.
You
I,
said
I
Limp
also think
Bizkit.
it's funny like
That's what I work for, didn't it?
how he mentions like, you know, Kaw truly is a wheel because he's
I just gotta know.
seeing like bits of his old friends and
No,
his
you
new
do.
friends.
Well, he's also realizing that his quest for the tower could never be fulfilled by himself. He's been shown over and over again.
Yeah, definitely.
Works very loosely.
It doesn't mean he'll change. It's just that, like, I the one thing about the part where we're at is that we really don't know what they're stepping out into. We have no idea. We've been given glimpses of this terrain on the way to Topeka. We really don't know what the group will face next.
Oh yeah,
It's wild.
there's definitely like a cliffhanger like at the end of this chapter because they're literally like climbing out of the top of the escape hatch after the train crashes, and that's like when we stop.
I felt a cool sense of fear somewhere right before we stopped, where they were talking about the book and how Jake felt that everything was going to be just fine, and then he started, you know, calling back to all these times everyone just clutched it, and then he started thinking maybe this isn't it. Maybe all the answers aren't right in front of us, and you know, from a book, the last book, which was really we're on this path and we have to take it. have everything we need.
Yeah, that's
That's
interesting.
how we're setting up this book.
Yes, it's definitely a ending of Lord of the Flies kind of feeling, where it's like, you know, who saves the saviors? Like we're at a spot here where it's like even Roland isn't sure that they're gonna make it, and they're definitely like about to step out into the unknown, some like serious like world like melding thing. Like it's Topeka, you know. What does that mean? Is that
So-
like our Topeka? Is that like some strange other Topeka? Is it an alternate Topeka, or is it just something called Topeka that has nothing to do with Kansas?
So they're right before the book ends. It's talked, and the car goes transparent. What is it that Roland sees off in the distance? Is it a big tall tower? It's not the dark tower. It's not the black tower. Dark tower. But-
Which page is that?
I don't know. I think it's subchapter 3 before
The
the
Hounds?
maybe? No, the Hounds is in the middle, which brings me to the next part I was going to talk about. Like that tells me that this next area, Topeka, is not as it's not ran as good as Lud was. Because instead of him passing from Lud to Topeka, he, spoiler alert, charges by the Hounds and then goes off battery power. So he's not transferring from one end to the other. So there's a link connection that's not there.
What do you think that means for the story? You know, is the story going through the same kind of transition to a different kind of power? You know what I mean?
It's focusing less on like black and white and more on the power of Ka. Of believing in yourself and stuff. I think that's still pushing through.
So there's a part where it says the barony coach cycled into invisibility again, and Eddie saw what appeared to be a tall and rusty grain elevator go flashing.
Oh
past.
yeah. Oh, flashing past. That's what it was. So there's a grain elevator. There's fields, farming,
Definitely some form of like.
but also
I love in the beginning that they mentioned that there's a deer, and
Yes.
all I could think was that kind of fucked over venison for me for a little bit. And all I could think was poor deer. The that was a hell of a beginning. But yeah, when they started mentioning the deer, I realized there was like a
Yeah, it was like an
closeness
old.
of
It was like an old town there first, right? And it was like talking about
Yeah.
like the robots that had been there for hundreds of years, and then as Blaine like zooms by, the shockwave like disturbs all the dust, and like one of the robots that had been like on the same track for years and years and years gets like knocked over, and you know pretty much like nothing changed, but like a huge event just happened. And then yeah, like they move on to the deer, and then how the deer's hide gets sucked off its body like through the backwash of the train and stuff. Like it's definitely like shows you how fucking fast they're going for sure.
yeah.
Well, and also think about that town where they had a robot sheriff going, "Howdy, partner." Like, does that sound tacky to you? Does that sound like that could have been like
Sounds like some
a
cheap,
tourist town?
Yeah.
yeah, I was gonna say some cheap vacation shit when you want to feel like a cowboy but don't want to be out in the middle of nowheres.
Yeah,
I used to take the train out to my grandpa's farm out in Kansas, and we used to drive through like, yeah, not Topeka, but we used to take the train out through. It was like Highway 50, I think it was close by, but it would take you go through like Dodge City and all these other
yeah.
well-known. And yeah, it kind of felt like that. So you know, that's kind of the callback I feel when I read that.
You know, I I always imagine like, what was it? God, I forget the name of it, but there's a place in Arizona that is a ghost town, and it's like the attraction is like you go visit the ghost town or whatever, but it's like legit like an old western town that was abandoned. Pretty sure like a disease came through.
I think I've been there.
Yeah, it's like close. It's like close to the it's close to the Grand Canyon, area.
I was thinking, yeah, it's around. I was thinking around Yuma, but anyways, yes.
Yep.
And
I'm
probably
sure
a
there's
lot
more
of
than one.
silver.
Yeah. I'm sure there's
Yeah.
tons of them. Because like that kind of thing happens a lot, where it's like, you know, everyone just up and left. Like there's like no one cleaned it up. You know, like no one like moved out. Like it was just everyone got sick and died, and then the town died. Pretty cool though. Definitely a very cool opener for the chapter, because you kind of realize like last time that we heard about what was happening outside was like a nuclear post-apocalyptic wastelanded nightmarish scape of horrors and mutant creatures, and it was just a disgusting kind of like
So do you-
hurt to look at it grossness.
Do you think they had one of those automatic, the cowboy waving,
Howdy,
Possibly,
Bart.
yeah.
the cheesy one?
I also kind of thought about have any of you guys ever seen From Dusk Till Dawn?
Yeah.
I was kind of thinking about the titty twister. Kind of like if like the
It's been too long.
like like if the titty
Twister?
twister was like
The fuck
abandoned
is
and then
that?
like, you know, left to like, you know, dust for hundreds of years.
Oh man.
Be kind of cheesy still, but like, you know, not
The
like
whole
the
bar?
full, like the actual full, like, I don't know. On its own it seems dumb, but you put it all together and maybe it works.
You're there. Hey, I got something I want to talk about. They come up about once a book, and that's the Manny. And this time they're on page 43. And
Blaine
it's
doesn't
in.
care about them.
Yeah, you're right. Blaine doesn't care about him. Screw him.
Do you guys
But
think
He
Blaine
jumps
was a
in there
trap?
quick.
Yeah.
Was he like a purposeful trap, or did he like himself seek them out?
I think from the last book, the man in black was trying to just get
That's
Blaine to
funny.
do his dirty work for him. In a way.
Purposeful.
Kind of edged him towards it. Yes. Yes.
Does it feel like that, or was there like something that like made you think that, or you just kind of like pulling it out through your instinct?
When I was listening to the book and the way that he was surprised that they even made it kind of like as far as they had, or at least that's what I assumed that he hinted at. And I don't remember. I'll have to reread the ending of the last book, but there was something that mentioned it that made me think that he kind of pushed them towards the train specifically, and assumed just because Blaine was known for being murderous or whatever, that he was just going to take care of them for his dirty work. So
In my mind, I imagine like the Man in Black like calling up Blaine, like, "Hey, bud, I want to go ahead and send the gunslinger and friends your way. You know, do your suicidal thing and you know, go ahead and get rid of them for me, thanks." Like kind of like.
The night is dark and full of terrors. Oh, I need to kill myself. Okay.
You know, I thought I recall a bit about Blaine talking about how he had localized the corruption, but he also wasn't sure where it originated from.
Right.
And to me, that signals outside interference.
See, I just thought
Very
it
good
was like a
chance of that.
symptom of like the world moving on. Like, of course, the AI like robots would lose their sanity. Like isn't sanity like what we hope they would have as becoming sentient? You know, as artificial intelligence, you would want a sane, stable, you know, intelligence there. And the instant that they go mad, like that'd be like your worst nightmare, right? Like a crazy art like AI. That's like every Terminator movie ever.
That's the way I see it as well, because everything they've described, from leaving Lud towards Topeka, I see no way that this Katet would have survived on foot.
Right.
It sounds like a wasteland.
Yeah, but also like he's definitely like not on their team. But how else would they have traveled that fucking far?
Yes, exactly. Like
They wouldn't have made it.
But also, like, if you remember when they're under the city making their way to the cradle, even Eddie and Susanna on top going through the city, they were all following the avenue. They were all following the path of the beam, and they all said that, you know, even the cradle was lined up. Blaine was lined up on the path of the beam.
Yeah. So we'll find
I
out
think-
how much the Man in Black had to do with it, I guess.
I think it was more. I
See,
think
like,
it was the tower.
I wouldn't put it past the Man in Black to use a tool that's already there, like knowing that like the good guys are using it, and then try to find a way
Right.
to corrupt that. So it
He's
is
good at
possible that
setting-
maybe he cast a spell and created that digital infection that caused Patricia to kill herself and caused Blaine to go insane. You know, like maybe that's also part of like his master plan was like, oh yeah, you're going to use the train. Well, guess what I'm going to do to the train?
Yep, exactly. Well, he's very good at setting things up like that or taking advantage of the situation. Very good at
He
it.
he certainly acts as though he has some sort of like foresight to some of these events. He knew Roland was going to come to the way station. He knew he was going to go through the mountains. He knew they were going to get on the fucking little rail car thing. Like he definitely seems like he's got some sort of like.
But doesn't he, at the very least, admit that they got a little farther than he anticipated with the train?
Yeah.
I think he says that every time that they meet him though. Like every time he's a part of there, he's always like, "You got farther than I thought you would, Gadget." Ah, like it's kind of like a
Yeah. Like
almost like a
he doesn't give them enough credit. He thinks that he can, because I think maybe before with like Roland's other friends. Well, we don't know the backstory or nothing quite and all that yet. But maybe before with his other friends, it worked. Other than with Roland, so he's assuming he can do it again with these people. But that's only a theory that I have of why he thinks he can predict things.
See, there's a part I don't remember where it's at, but there's a part that we've read where it mentions how he's like kind of like made me think of that scene with Heath Ledger's version of the Joker, where he's like, I'm like a dog chasing a car. Like I wouldn't know what to do with it if I caught one. Like he's just kind of like walking
was
around like pushing
Dark
dominoes,
Knight.
right? Like he's like pulling fucking threads and like kicking over fucking doorstops and stuff. Like he did. He's not like he tries to put off like, I don't have a plan for any of this stuff and I don't know what I'm doing and I'm just kind of an agent of chaos and I'm just, you know, throwing my monkey wrenches where they'll fit, and it just kind of gives you kind of like which one of these is right. Like, can it possibly be both?
See, I'm getting the sense that maybe he's more on the run towards them now. Like, but since they're now on the train farther ahead, so I also don't know if that's a turning point.
See, so Roland, he caught up with the Man in Black back in in Gunslinger. Drawing of the Three and Wastelands, there was no Man in Black to follow. They didn't start following the beam until charting.
Yep, that's true.
It was just they were just going pretty much aimlessly, but I mean still in that northern direction.
Well, like you say aimlessly, but think about it. Like the Man in Black led him up the mountains. He had to sacrifice Jake to get him. He gets there. He tells him all this extraneous stuff about the universe and how it's all based on size, and you know he like throws him through these dreams where he's like weird psychedelic space travel. Like he's like getting this kind of metaphysical kind of feeling from this guy. He wakes up after this last dream, whatever, and he's just bones at the other side of the campfire. And then Roland decides to go to sleep. When he wakes up, he's on a beach now, in the high tide zone.
Yep, 10 years. I think it was 10 years.
Yeah,
later.
like
so.
10 years. Like he didn't do that. Someone moved him. Someone put him there. Someone or something had to have.
What I find strange is that they mentioned that the last time that Blaine did anything was 9.5 years ago. There was a part that they mentioned 9.5 years. So Roland was technically asleep the last time Blaine had, like,
Or
moved.
Or yeah, just gone to
Supposedly.
sleep possibly.
Mm-hmm. Or had missed it. I don't know. That's all. Like that was something that stuck out to me too, because it happened to have been right around the time that like everything, you know, that he was in his weird, spaced out, you know, 10-year vision.
Then you have Aunt Talitha. I think didn't she think it was like 30 or 20 years ago or 30? And then the 8-hour ride takes almost 2
time
hours.
is funny. Time is funny. So what might have been 10 to 30 or like 30 years for them might have only been 9 years, but also could have been, the day before, because time is funny.
What if
that.
the closer you get to the tower, time is different, or different parts go quicker or slower?
I'm not sure.
Like, I don't know. It's weird.
It was just, I don't remember how many years that she said that it was. Well, one of them said 30, and the other one said like 10. And then someone else was like, I don't know, the whole thing was confusing. But
I think they were talking
Blaine
about
saying-
different things though. Like one of them was talking about the last time they saw the pink mono, and one of them was talking about the last time the blue mono left the city.
That's true.
So I'm not sure if that's exactly like, even those times could have been like, exaggerated or,
Exactly.
underrepresented just because like they're old and like you said, time moves funny.
Yeah,
So-
but then Blaine had mentioned it had been 9.5 years, so it's like, and that was
Well,
right
but then he
about
said
the
it would
time
take
that-
8 hours to get to Topeka, and they were like, it's been maybe 3. So
Yeah. So.
definitely a lot of like wacky shit happened, especially time wise. What's going to happen next week when we get to Topeka and like what that's all about? I can't wait to get to that part specifically, because then it like kind of launches the full story here. I honestly kind of felt like the beginning of this book should have been the ending of last book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know why the cliffhanger was such an important thing for him, but I think he kind of felt the same
didn't
way
he
because
just
he
kinda
just
say, "Fuck
immediately
this"?
in the beginning of the book solves the problem like right away and then like moves on. So this is almost kind of like a prelude. I think it should have been the ending of the last book.
Kind of like you need like this announcer going, last time on
Yeah.
the Wastelands.
Yeah, see, that was hard for me because I just finished the one book and then went right into the next one. I was like, I already heard this.
Well, it's definitely I feel like it's a good ending because you get Jake trying his best, Roland trying his best, Susanna trying his best, and then you got Eddie who's kind of just been counted out. Once again, kind of steps up and shows like that he can be true to himself but still be a gunslinger. And I think it's a really important part of like Eddie's kind of character growth there, where before he was learning to do Roland's things right, and he was learning to do like guns and battle and how to like think properly, and like he's learning all this stuff. But then when it comes to like life and death here, it's old Eddie that saves their asses and not this new Eddie.
I also think it also opened Roland's eyes that you don't have to take everything so extremely seriously. Because even he mentioned that sometimes he doesn't. What was it when he was talking about like with the riddle thing? He has a problem how he thinks about it. Like
He
basically,
can't
too
think around
logically.
corners.
Yep, he's too. And then Eddie, on the other hand, mainly lives around corners when it comes to his.
That's like, why did the dead baby cross the road?
Stapled to the chicken.
I mean, that answer could be that's an endless answer
And that's actually like the logic behind why Blaine couldn't handle him.
because it overtaxed the
Because-
system.
Yes, because there is a quote unquote like right answer for a lot of that, but it's like based on like phonetics or it's based on puns or
Or logic.
like not so closely related things. Like it's a very divergent thought pattern that you have to kind of have to be able to get to. The dead baby was stapled to the chicken, right? Like like
really
Moby's snot, the
sense
great
of
green
humor.
whale. Like that's not a logical jump, and computers would have problems with that. So like he would have been the one to use that part of himself to like throw that not logic at the robot brain to kill the train.
Handle
Like
this
20
exception, bitch. Sorry.
It's like
And I
20
think
questions in one thing.
We've all seen those shows, where the outdated computer is sitting there smoking and the
Yeah.
lights are going. Does not compute, and
Yep.
that was exactly what happened there.
Yep.
I thought of Power Rangers. Ay, 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 ay. Oh shit!
It is a
was sad.
good move for Eddie, and I think it's a good move for the world that Blaine's gone. The whole thing, like even like Susanna said, it was like, yeah, like we're kind of pro-choice when it comes to like choosing to kill yourself, you crazy murderous robot train, but like you don't have to kill us too. And that's
If you want to die, go ahead and go for it, but we got shit to do.
yeah, that's where the problem started. Is when you want to kill us too.
Yeah, that they say that exact thing to Little Blaine. Stop! You're killing him. That's the point, right?
Yeah, he's like, what did he think he was trying to do to us? Very cool. How far should we read next week? Has anybody done a chapters thing?
I have not.
I have read up to chapter 6.
420.
How dare you!
I'm very irritated how on the front of these books they still push that major motion picture, and I'm like,
Yes.
there's no way that movie still goes into this book. There's no way.
It does not.
No, that book's already
It
done.
has nothing to do with
That
that
movie,
Of
that
course.
movie, fake movie book is
There's
gone.
nothing to do.
They say that movie is a sequel. What? What does that even mean?
That movie was horrendous. I was so upset that I even spent money on that horrible thing.
Oh
I
god, I
still
hate when
not
you spend
seen
money on a shitty movie.
Yes.
I was like, I wasted my time on that. Y'all owe me like $30 an hour
I-
for watching that shit.
I really think Matthew McConaughey is like very talented, but
Yes.
I think it was bad writing with that because it could have been so
even
good.
he could save it.
Or Idris Elba.
And yeah, he's good too. He's really good.
That was.
I think that
not,
what he had,
That was not his strongest performance.
what he
No,
had
it-
to work with, though.
It's just that it's not because he's an African American like everybody tried to make it sound. He just was not fit for the part. Like he wasn't Roland.
I mean, he had the eyes.
Yeah, but he
And he had
I
this,
think of him
like-
as like
He had like the stoicism.
more of like a Mission Impossible hero guy, not like
Really?
yeah, like not a like cowboy hero guy.
You guys are going
You
nuts
know?
in chat.
Pinocchio.
I think the problem is that like you didn't get any
Connection.
grasp of scale.
Yeah.
There was
you were
no like actual like weight behind any of the plot.
Yeah, you were just thrown
devices.
into the middle of this little skit, and you were like, "What the? How
Yeah.
did I get here?"
Yeah, none of it made sense in like
No.
like a cohesive like front to back kind of thing, and it was just
It was just
Honestly,
rushed and
A
pathetic.
half-assed thought.
it was
It actually
undercooked.
could be
It was rough.
maybe a very off dream, like one single
Yeah.
dream.
Yeah, like if they had done
They
that,
just-
it was somebody
Look,
had
listen.
a dream.
Cherry pick.
This would be like what you would dream about if someone told you the Dark Tower story at a campfire where you were doing mushrooms. And,
Yes.
and then you
Yeah.
dreamed that night of
Then
what
you would dream the actual whole
of
entire
what
book.
what the Dark Tower was.
I was so
But you
upset.
should not get that line. On book 4. Just terrible. As far as reading, I think we can go to chapter 3 of book 2. That's
I was
100
gonna
pages.
suggest, if possible, chapter
Can you get the
4.
book? Can you get the book?
That is only 130 pages.
It's over there behind your.
And
So
I
finish on chapter 4 or
correct,
finish through
stop-
chapter 4?
Stop at chapter 4, page
So we're
209.
just doing chapter.
Page 209. It's 130 pages. But I think it's good to stop for the story right there.
Oh,
Yeah, I was
chapter
gonna ask
4
you
of
if
the
that's
next.
based on story.
Yes.
It's on the next shelf down, right there by the D&D book. To the right.
Yes, I think that'll be a great place to stop.
I think ours has a lion on it, doesn't it? No, ours does not.
Susan. Oh,
Doesn't have a what?
Susan.
Ours is this one.
Oh, fancy. With a
Nice.
cool gunslinger on the front.
Right?
I have a different one. Hang on a second.
I used to have it all. Yeah. It's a different one.
It's got this this like panoramic graphic on the back end. Come on, you son of a bitch! Focus. There you go.
Pretty cool.
3 different parts.
You have scissors.
They're in the cup right there.
Hey,
What do you need here?
I have another one too, but it's a hardback packed away. This is one I have.
Ooh, nice.
Holographic.
Holographic.
Yeah.
Foil.
That one's rare.
we're planning on getting the box set whenever we're done reading.
That's the one that I think everybody just bought.
Yeah, the softback
I think so, yeah.
paperback.
Oh, I didn't.
Yeah, if they have a hardcover
I've got
set,
I've
then
got
I'll
like a
get
hard
that.
like a hardcover leather bound box set.
Ooh.
I got a copy that never mind.
I've also got it on PDF if you guys if you guys need any of the stuff on PDF.
Mine is bound in Stephen King's woven hair.
Cost you a pretty penny.
That's the Stevenomicon.
Yeah.
Knowing that dude is probably all eyebrow hair, man.
Really?
I don't know. His eyebrows look a little short in
Excuse.
this one.
Getting older.
I think this book is what got me into Audible.
This one is what got you into Audible.
You listen to
He's
this
like,
one?
I can't fucking read it.
I was like on the verge of tears. I was like, I have to finish this because I want to read the series, but I can't get through this damn book. And so we started our Audible subscription.
Hopefully this time it'll be a little better for you.
First
gonna cry
Pocket
together.
Books paperback edition, January 2017. Okay.
I'm starting to get a feeling that Roland may not finish this trip. That's kind of what I'm starting to get a sniff of. We'll see where that goes.
I can see where you get there.
Yeah.
I worry it's going to be bittersweet by the end of it all.
Well, like Jake said in this chapter, is we get to the Dark Tower and we all live happily ever after? Is that what's going to happen? And you just don't quite see it that way.
Or are they going to be the cataclysm that makes sure the sun doesn't come up again?
I thought it was
You
interesting
know-
how Blaine talked about the different levels of the tower and what you could experience on them. I thought that was the first time we kind of get this idea of it being like an amusement park. Well, in level 4, they listen to this music, and level 2, we have these girls.
I thought it was like
Jake,
the
would
first connection we had to it actually being some sort of layered system.
It is actually. I think the first time you've heard the phrase level of the tower.
The upper levels was like
Maybe
classical
the Man in
music.
Black alluded to it. Maybe I'm not 100%.
Maybe talking about the Manny, but we don't.
But
Blaine
yeah.
doesn't care about the
about.
Let me tell you.
All they
this
said about the
before I
Manny is
forget
that they know where the doorways are.
like the sixth level
It's
Kef
like
or something.
They are all different star seeds that had to come together for this mission to go on their spiritual journey to evolve in their next lives. Yeah,
Yeah,
feeling that.
there are more wolves than these. Ah,
See, that's what's going to leave us guessing because we have a whole bunch of to read. 130 pages this next week.
Yeah, don't leave it all till Friday
Said
afternoon.
130.
Yeah, we're going to go to the beginning of chapter 4 in the next book. I believe it is called.
A meeting on the road or something like that.
Yes.
Oh shit! Oh, turn peeking.
Turnpiking. Yeah, that's one
That's
of the
chapter
chapters,
5.
Chapter 2. So yes, it goes into the book Susan.
Oh, Susan!
Susan's about halfway through.
What did y'all think about the Heil gunslinger?
It's H-I-L-E Heil, not H-I-E-L Heil, or H-E-I-L Heil.
Yeah, hi.
HEIL is what it was.
No, it's
Heil.
H-I-L-E Heil.
I always thought it was
But
more hick.
but right after it did talk about
The German
the
plane.
German plane.
Yep.
Heil. I think it could come from a few places, but
Yeah.
it definitely does infer.
Well, hail is H-A-I.
I believe actually that phrase itself comes from the poem that Robert Frost wrote. I think he actually wrote that as like
Browning?
Browning. Sorry, Robert Frost. Browning. Sorry.
I thought that was strange. I was like, I've never heard of that, but I
Browning.
was just gonna let
Browning.
you tell me
Robert
about it.
Robert Browning.
Browning viewers, we apologize.
Please don't send me hate mail anymore. I am tired of that. Stop googling stuff.
I better not Google Heil. I'll end up on a watch list.
Look, you can Google. It's H-I-L-E.
These days.
It's like saying hello. It's not the same as the German word.
Are
Right.
you bringing it back? Are you taking it back?
I am
never saw
not.
that.
I totally waved right there too. So, a wrist motion. You see that? Hi.
Howdy do.
I'm also hi.
Hi.
Um,
How do.
hi. We
So we're ending it long after moonset, right?
what?
That's chapter 4.
Chapter 4? I think so. Let me just double check.
Chapter 4 of book 2.
Yes. Long after moonset.
Alrighty.
Long after moonset. We're gonna get a pretty good beginning there, and then we're gonna stop right there and have us a good old powwow, a nice palaver, if you will.
Palaver, yeah.
We'll figure out what Steve did and didn't like this time.
Yeah. You know,
Steve,
even
you
in the
didn't-
book they spelled Velcro fly wrong. It's
Did they?
Valero fly.
What?
Yeah.
Valero Fry.
Well, he didn't want to get sued, I think.
Sorry.
I think that's what it might have been.
Yeah.
You have to pay for, if you mention titles, any part of songs and stuff like that as a book writer, you have to pay per line that you use and per title of song,
Yeah, I'm
unless you change it.
pretty sure like
thought
he was like don't want to get sued by ZZ Top.
Yeah.
I thought it was
72.
Velcro.
I
72?
think page 72 of the yellow book. Unless I didn't pay enough, I bought like some counterfeit package here.
That's the Canadian version.
Let me just play some Velcro Fly here.
Does
What
this book not
subchapter
have
is
a
it? Where's
license?
it at?
I do not. So I'm just only gonna
This
play
book,
it for me.
it'll tell you if there's a license for it. Just gotta check the. Yeah, compare this to the last book, which is right
Oh,
here.
that? Are you ending the stream?
Did I? No.
I just seen a new picture up.
I'm just I'm just giving Fox what he wants, man. Like this is why he's here. He
Oh.
doesn't he doesn't know it now, but this is exactly why. This is the only reason why he's on my channel.
Let's do this.
I gotta feed it to him every now and again, or he'll leave.
He needs that little
Velcro
trippy
Fly
trip.
has been played 4,300,000 times on YouTube.
Bum, ba-da-dum, bum, ba-dum, dum.
That's it.
My Velcro Fly.
It's actually kind of a fun song, but I mean, definitely not one of their best.
Okay, so in acknowledgments, it is in the Wastelands.
Do you think it's just a
Acknowledgments are in the
typo?
back. Well, it depends. If it's not in here, then it was to avoid copyright. Acknowledgments for
You find
Wizard
it?
and Glass.
I know in the audio file they call it Velcro Fly.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. They had to use an alt. I don't think that's a
Yeah, I was
Valero Fly.
in yours too. Yeah, I don't think it's a typo.
I
Yeah,
think maybe
well,
he didn't want to
and-
get sued. Pretty
But
sure
I
that's-
think it's funny.
that's our
how your
heroes
brain
avoiding
reads it.
lawsuit, guys.
But in the audio file, he definitely says Velcro Fly. Velcro Fly.
So
Fuck,
it may just
words.
be like in the newer printings they've changed it.
I care not
Could
about
be.
the Manny Roland of Gilead. They were always a foolish sect
There you
trying
go.
me with another riddle.
There you go.
Well,
Care not for the Manny.
one more book
It-
and I can show off my Dark Tower tattoo.
Hey, I'm
So that's
looking
gonna be
forward to
fun.
that.
On your butt.
Yeah, it is on his butt. Yes,
You got to get the paid stream going. Yeah.
You got to go to shit posting for
that's
that.
right. That'll be on
Amazing.
OnlyFans. Don't worry. I'll send you links.
Been working out.
For free.
Is a muscular ass cheek even better?
Oh my God, Kat.
That's what we should do.
That is a thick book.
Get muscular
Ass
ass
tattoos?
cheek tattoos.
We are working through
Tattoos.
this shit.
Oh, shit! I was expecting it.
Definitely not on the ass.
Me and P-Pops, we was there. we
What?
Oh,
were on the same wavelength.
I know. All I heard is some
Ass tattoos? What? Like, oh Jesus!
well. Looking forward to next week. Same bad time, same bad channel. We'll be doing this again after we read the next section. I am looking forward to this one actually.
I am too.
It's a good one. If you have the testicular fortitude to stick it out, Steve.
I was going to say, as a 14-year-old boy, this one tested my resolve.
I bet. There's a lot of nuance.
Is this the one with the 10 pages talking about a tree?
It's possible. Depends on. See, like to me, that reminds me of Tolkien and not. Stephen
Yeah.
King.
Tolkien was very good
Yeah,
at describing trees in depth detail.
He hasn't really went down deep descriptive
Do you
rabbit
know what
holes.
the Entwives are?
Say-
Can
Because I struggled.
The what?
the Entwives?
No.
I think that there is definitely a difference in the writing styles. Like I think you may have caught a small bit of it in the beginning here, but I don't think you really get into like the growth that he kind of shows until you reach the full plot of like what's going on here. But it is definitely his first part of this series where it's a very kind of in-depth story.
There's even more fluidity. Like whenever they're doing the riddles, instead of it being riddle, period, or response, you know, it just kept going.
They were like, okay, we're going to skip this part of the Bible because it says, and his father, and his father, and his father, and his father.
Oh God,
and his...
I know what
That's
you're
how
talking
this
about.
felt to me.
I didn't get that at all.
Oh my God.
For me, it was more like that's like I feel like that's sappy, and it was hard to like get through like just the dripping sappy parts for me. And then it was like I had to read a couple parts twice because it didn't make a clear picture in my head. Like
Yes.
once
It
I
just
made it to the
drove-
end and was able to like think back, it was a lot easier to like put the right context in there and like then I was able to get a clear picture. But it was definitely at first read a little bit complicated.
I
think
felt
this
like
is
I had to
why-
dig through it.
I think this is why I can only do audiobooks for Stephen King's books, most of them, because sometimes they get really, I don't know, I have to hear somebody put it in a certain tone to understand the tone that
Yeah.
it's meant to be taken
Yeah,
in.
that
Because
yes.
if I don't, my brain
I
can
think-
go, okay, well, what the
I
fuck?
think Frank
That's
Muller
supposed
does a
to
pretty good job of it too. Like he's
I-
pretty expressionate and he can change his voice like a little bit and it doesn't like get super annoying.
I
But it helps with the
forget.
characters.
It's the same person, especially when he goes from like Jake's voice to like Roland's voice. I really forget sometimes.
He does.
that
He does a good
it's
job
just-
of like voicing them all.
Oh.
There was a guy
Yep.
that I heard read the Song of Ice and Fire series. His name was Roy Dotrice, and while he sounded proper and super English, his voice for women all sounded like someone's like ratchet old grandma, and even for like Arya and Sansa and like the entire like young girl, they all sounded like old crones.
like smoked a couple packs a day type grandmas.
It was hard to get into it because like they were all like it sounded like all of his women were like cronish pirates.
I will say the audiobook did make it readable for me.
Yes.
I could not physically look at the pages and read that book. But when I listened to it on my app, I was like, okay, I think I can manage this now.
Yeah.
There's-
I think if we have any problems, we can slow down the pace a little bit. But I think we should be able to handle about 100 pages at a time, and still kind of keep the story flowing.
Yeah,
I mean, if you think
I
about
think
it,
it'll be
it's
good.
less
I mean,
than
I've been
like
doing.
4 pages front and back every day.
What?
My math is not quite right, but
28.
What?
High fives. Yeah, less than 5. Multiply that by 4.
it's enough.
It's about 10 pages a day.
Yeah, 4 or 5 pages. Front and
Or
back.
130 on Friday
On
afternoon.
one day, yeah.
The audiobook is 27 hours.
It's like, can I listen to 6 hours of audiobook in 2?
We're
I got through college.
yeah, we're gonna get through it, guys. Like it's I just want to make sure that like we hit a good pace and it's not like too much. So I'm trying to make the chunks smaller, but I feel like if we cut it off before this part, then we would need to cut it off like at book 2 instead of like 3 chapters in book 2. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
And to
So
book
far-
2 isn't very much.
No,
Go ahead.
it just doesn't seem like it's gonna be too much of a problem, but we'll see.
Yeah.
I'm liking how we're stopping like in between each section. Other than the way that the last book ended and this book started, it's been very consistent where we like almost think of it like an episode. So
Yeah.
kind of like one episode and then we finish. I like that.
I feel like if
That's
we
how
can-
easy it could be done on TV.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, but
Netflix hasn't picked it
the
up yet.
scope of that is just astronomical. Like
Yeah.
they would need to have like Game of Thrones level
Of money.
planning and money. Yeah.
What did we just see? What
And time.
What are they doing?
Huh?
um,
Something about Pam? The thing about Pam? Oh, Mr. Harrington. Picking up Mr.
they're
Harrington.
making a movie out of that.
What's that?
What the fuck is that?
From the new book he just put out recently. What is it?
Oh, you mean
Mr. Harrington's Phone,
Yeah.
which is adapted from a novella in Stephen King's collection, If It Bleeds.
Yeah.
yeah,
You know,
it's-
I made the worst mistake ever. I went into that book thinking
Mr.
I was reading a
Mercedes.
book, not a like collection of stories. So I was so fucking confused when I got to the third one, and I'm like, why is this so different?
yeah, that
What
was
does
Yeah.
this have
that
to
was
do with
different.
anything?
There's a
Yeah, it was horrible.
that's the
But
same
the
series.
stories were good.
That's the same series that The Outsider was in.
So King
Outsiders are good.
Outsider is
had
decent.
I like
Go
that
ahead.
one. That
Oh,
they
decent.
did a good job with that. They did a really good job with that
All
one.
right, love.
I liked it. I want to read the book.
Yeah, they took the
The book is amazing.
they took enough of the book to where like it really worked for a TV series, but they could have done a little more truer to the story, I think.
The book was so exciting. Like it kept you
Yes.
so engaged the
Yes.
entire time.
And it was scary.
Really
It
excellent.
was actually fucking scary.
It really was.
Yeah,
I was like,
very-
It
this
was so
fucking
good.
guy. This fucking
This-
guy.
yeah, yeah, but then you have like the other series that he's involved in, and that's like the Mr. Mercedes series, where it's the first one's called Mr. Mercedes. The second one is oh man,
Hold on,
the guy's name is he was the detective. He was Ralph, the detective.
Oh, the big dude, McGinnis. No,
Do you remember Holly Gibney coming to help?
I have no clue what the fuck y'all are talking about.
Holly Gibney in The Outsider.
Never seen that.
Her old
I haven't seen The
partner
Outsider.
is the
End
guy.
of Watch and Finders Keepers are
Thank
the other
you.
ones.
The Finders Keepers trilogy. That's what it's called.
So good.
Very
It's oh
good.
my gosh.
Oh, that's the one. The
Yeah, you bought them for me.
Mr. Mercedes.
Yeah.
That's what I said.
Yeah, I was not paying attention. I was waiting for an
Zoning.
opening to say what
Yep,
what King
Um.
King had tweeted about Mr. Harrington's phone.
Well,
He
it is,
said, "I have seen a close to finished cut of Mr. Harrington's Phone, written and directed by John Lee Hancock, and it's nothing short of brilliant."
Of course he's going
And
to say
Donald
Please.
Sutherland is going to be Mr. Harrington.
pay for my great grandkids' college. Thank you.
Have y'all watched The Black Phone yet? Has Chris talked to y'all about that?
I watched it.
Oh, it's pretty good.
I really, really loved it. Joe Hill wrote it.
Yeah, based on one of his books.
So good.
I've read a couple of his books. What was it? The Heart-Shaped Box and
Oh, that's my favorite.
I read Heart Shaped Box.
Nosferatu.
I read Nosferatu. I read one about a firefighter.
Oh, yes. Is it The Fireman? Is that what it's called?
Maybe it was a very strange one. That one was.
I haven't read that one.
So, the Black Phone kind of made me think of, like, a lot of the same world of Stephen King.
Yeah, Joe
Like,
Hill.
there's
kinda
something
has
more. It's
Yeah,
alluded
he has a
to.
really strong vibe, like his dad.
There's a lot of ties there.
But a lot of it's left to your understanding.
For sure. You got to kind of like make the inference yourself.
So, I'm excited to read.
Yep, definitely got some good stuff happening in the future. Also, don't forget we got another stream next Friday. We're gonna be doing the same thing. Thanks for hanging out, guys. We're gonna call it a night. Say good night. We got Can and Tam on the top. Steve is in the back
Good
of that train. Probably back of the train. Steve.
He crawled under the coal.
Steve. He's playing. Steve.
Charlie.
There he
the
is.
choo-choo.
Hey, there's Steve. We got Eric. He's like way
What's up?
over there.
What's up?
And then P
I'm in the
Pop's next to
corner.
me. She's just a purple face right now. Thanks for hanging out though. We will catch you next week. Good night and goodbye. Here you go, Fox.
See you later, Blaine Gator. After a while, Crocodile. Don't forget to write.
Don't forget to write.